Yo, what's up everybody? Jumping here. Today I wanted to show you guys my really awesome hybrid build in Nioh. It's a really powerful build and it's a lot of fun because you can do a lot of things with it because it's a hybrid build. It's really going to come down to the gear more than the level because you can pretty much choose whatever weapon you want, but when it comes to the armor and the setup and things like that, that's all important. But you can pretty much do a lot of different things. If you want to do infinite living weapon, you can. If you want to grind for a lot of experience and level up to 750, you can do that. And also, if you want to go ahead and just not use living weapon and play legit, but still be able to like just do massive damage and one-shot bosses, this build can do that as well. I'm going to be primarily using a katana, but like I said, you can kind of use whatever weapon you might like. It's really all about the gear and the setup. So without further ado, I'll get into it and I'll show you exactly what you want for this build. Alrighty, so let me go ahead and start with the stats and what you want. I have a 16 body and a 16 strength. Now that is primarily because I like to use this one helmet that is for a katana. If you're not using a katana, I would recommend 13 for strength and body. Now I go for 22 stamina. That's because I want to have under a 70% equipment weight so I can have a B agility at all times. The only time I will not have a B is when I use a certain heavy set, and that is just for XP grinding. And that set is so heavy that it's pretty much impossible to get a B unless you have like a massive amount of stamina. I'm talking about probably, I don't know, 50 stamina or something like that. I have 99 heart because I am a katana build. If you want to use a different weapon like a dual sword, you would want to switch that 99 heart to 99 skill, for example. I have 5 skill because I'm really not using anything that requires skill. Although some armor sets, they do require skill. So if you like those sets, you might want to level that up somewhat for those sets. But for me, I don't use anything that requires skill, so I'm not really too worried about it. I have 20 dexterity, which I think you can get away with 15 dexterity, but I want to say that 20 is probably the better number. That way you can get everything that you want and be able to equip those things. I have a 30 magic. I would also recommend maybe leveling magic up a little bit higher just to get more passives, but 30 magic is good enough to unlock all the magic that you want to use for this build. And finally, 25 spirits. 25 spirit is pretty much good enough because that is going to allow you to use pretty much every spirit in the game. And there's going to be 4 spirits that this build can use, and all 4 spirits are really good. Some are really more focused around katana, but still, it doesn't really matter. You can use them with any setup you want. Now, the overall level of this build is 191. So you're going to want to pretty much level up somewhat. I would say that you can probably get away with this build at 175. No problem. You'll be able to do the whole hybrid thing. And when you're playing New Game Plus, getting to 175 is really not that hard. By the time that you get to the end of the game, you'll probably be 175. And once you get to the end of the game, you can then go and fight a lot of Revenants. Or really, as you play New Game Plus, you can fight a lot of Revenants. And you'll find most of the armor I'm going to be showing here by fighting Revenants. So just keep that in mind. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and move on to something else now. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the spirits that I like for this build. If you were wondering what spirit was I using in the beginning of the video where I wasn't using living weapon, I was using this one right here, the Peacock. This one's really good. It does a lot of good things. The elemental damage is not bad. The extended time is good. The yokai reduction is nice. But the main thing is the bonus from Amarita Absorption stance based. What that does is that allows you to get a couple different effects. The main one here is going to be high stance. It will increase your attack. I've heard that's like 60%, and it seems like it's true. Because what you can do is, if you're fighting, let's say a human, and you want to one-shot him, all you have to do is go into high stance, shoot him in the face, absorb the Amarita using the extraction talisman, and then go for a final blow, and you just do ridiculous damage. Also, if you're in high stance, for the most part, you're able to use a lot of different skills, and some of those skills can be really good and really fast, like Night Rain from the katana. It hits 4 times, so you get the Amarita absorption, you get the bonus damage, then you go for a really fast attack like Night Rain, which is a skill, and you can just dominate enemies. It does a ton of damage. This is a really, really good spirit, and I don't see a lot of people using it, which is kind of interesting because it is great. Now, this spirit is more around the idea that you're going to use this when you're not using a living weapon build. If you want to use like a really hard-hitting one-shot build, this is definitely one of the best spirits for that. Now the next spirit I'm going to show is another non-living weapon setup that you can do, and that's going to be the bat. This gives you damage from behind and agility damage bonus A, which I believe that does stack with any agility damage bonus A+. I did some testing, it seems like it's stacked. Okay, maybe I'm wrong on that, but I got well over 1,000 additional damage when I had this spirit on and agility damage bonus A+. So the only thing I can think of, if it doesn't stack, the A to A+ adds over 1,000 damage, but that seems a little bit too high for me. So I believe it's something to do with the spirit, and the bonus from, let's say, your rifle or your weapon will actually stack. That's what I think. Now, the damage from behind is really great for pretty much any weapon. You just get behind them and you wail on them and you just freaking dominate. It's very, very good. Not very good for living weapon build, but definitely really good for a non-living weapon build. Now let's go ahead and talk about the living weapon build. If you want to just dominate and kill everything super quick, the dog is amazing. This is like the starting spirit of the game, or at least one of them. This spirit is absolutely crazy. It does so much good stuff. It has a high attack enhancement. It has skill damage. It has chi recovery speed, bonus chi, close combat damage. Pretty much everything on this is just fantastic. And you get this living weapon really quick. You can have it for pretty much ever. It's fire, which is also another factor. So just a lot of things about this spirit is really good. If you want to go for maximum living weapon damage, in my opinion, the dog is the best one by far. But I think the best spirit is the Phoenix, just because of all the things that it does. And I think most people would agree with me that the Phoenix is amazing, especially if you're going to go and farm for experience. And that's something I recommend. I definitely recommend farming for experience to try to get as high of a level as you can, because if you want to use a hybrid build, you want to be able to just swap your weapon anytime and pretty much just get to level 750 if you can. So you definitely want to do some experience farming, and this is by far the best setup for experience farming. You get yourself into critical, you get all your critical bonus, and you get that Amarita Urn, which is 30%, and you stack that with other effects that will also give you more Amarita earned. If you have 2 Megatomas with that same effect on there, you can get like 90% more experience. Plus, if you have multiple effects where you just have Amarita earned or Amarita earned from yokai, you can stack up millions of experience super easily. That's going to pretty much do it for all the spirits that I like. I'm sure there's other ones that are really good that you could use with this build, but these are the 4 that I primarily use. If I'm not using living weapon, I use the bat or I use the peacock. If I'm using living weapon, I'm using the dog or the phoenix. Alright, so now let's go ahead and move on to skills. I'm going to go ahead and start with the magic and ninja stuff because this is pretty universal. Some of the skills might be different depending on the build or weapon that you're using. Now for magic, I definitely love Awakening. I used to swear by the other one because it extends the durations of your effects, but this one is so much better. You can cast your Sloth Talisman, your Weakness Talisman a lot faster, but the fact that you can instantly cast all of your buffs on yourself, it really does help, because pretty much what you can do is as you're moving around and dodging and doing all types of stuff, if you're fighting, you can buff yourself. It's really, really nice. Now, I do recommend the Sloth Talisman, although you might not really need it, and the Weakness Talisman. I definitely recommend the Weakness Talisman, but you don't need too much of this. I normally just carry 2 Weakness Talismans and 4 Sloth Talismans, and that's it. I'm done at that point. I don't need any more. I really just use them for bosses. I don't need them for the normal enemies. So that's what I would recommend, but you can use as many as you want. Now scrolling down, I did not go for a lot of the passives in the trees because I just don't feel like they're necessary, but some are. Like, you want to increase your capacity to max, so you have 40 capacity. You want to extend your living weapon for pretty much every build, but if you're going to use the hybrid build and switch to infinite living weapon or to no living weapon, then yeah, you definitely want to extend the living weapon for your infinite living weapon build. I also like to increase my luck, and I like to have the Luckbringer's Talisman just so I can farm for certain things sometimes. And also, this is where it gets important. You want to get maxed out Carnage Talisman, which is just an amazing talisman. I think everybody knows that at this point. And you want to get these 2 talismans as well. Now this one's not as important because it increases the multiplier of your Amarita gauge. That's not so important. You don't need to worry about that, but I do like it for farming experience. But the extraction talisman is extremely important just for the build in general. For infinite living weapon, for the peacock build, you definitely want the extraction talisman and you want to max it out. And that's pretty much it. I mean, like I said, there's other freaking passives here that you should definitely go for, but I'll leave that up to you to figure out when you want to go for the passives and what you want. Now for the ninja stuff, I recommend, once again, Enlightenment. This is the same thing. You can instantly cast your ninja on yourself, and it's really, really nice. Now, I don't really use a lot of ninja stuff, but I will show you what I use, and I do recommend Tiger Running Scrolls. This is nice in general. You can run like Sonic. It does help for your infinite living weapon build, because if there's a group of enemies, you kill them all, and then you need to run to another group. This will allow you to run there a lot faster so that you can keep your living weapon. The other one I use and highly recommend is the Quick Change Scroll. If you're ever using any type of critical build, you really definitely want this. Now, the infinite living weapon is a critical build, but even when you're not using infinite living weapon, you might also want to have some critical stats. There's a lot of really great critical stats. So this will just protect you from being killed if you have it. It's an amazing, amazing thing. Now, the next thing is just the passives. Like, you can get more elixirs if you want. You can get more damage for reoccurring. But the final thing I use for ninja is the power pills. These are really nice. I actually like these a lot. Okay? But I should actually say, I think you do need to increase your capacity to be able to equip the power pills, the Tiger Running Scroll, and the Quick Change Scroll. But the power pills are nice because if you are running around, you should save your Carnage Talisman, which is such a superior attack boost. Save that for big groups of strong enemies or bosses, where for the small mobs and small enemies you can use power pills. So that's why I use them. It's just for the small enemies to kill them faster and just finish them off. It's really nice. I do like it. But you get pretty much 12 castings of attack bonus. 6 Carnage, 6 power. Powers for small, Carnage for big. Moving on, I'm going to quickly show the passives that I like. I like this one. It gives you more final blow damage. If you scroll down a little bit, you can also get more damage from behind. It's like 12%. It's not bad. There's another passive here that's not bad either, but I don't really like it because I never really have full health. I'm not all about that. Now, the axe. This is super important. First of all, you can get 200 life. That's definitely nice. But this is one of the most important skills in the game. Okay? Because what this does is that it gives you 40% more damage reduction when you drop under 30% health when you're in critical status. This is one of the reasons why people are able to tank when they are using infinite living weapon. You activate your living weapon and it dramatically will increase your might. You get hit and you take barely any damage to your living weapon. That's because of this skill. And there's other things too, like you can get it on your armor where you can reduce the damage you take by like 20% if you're in critical. So it all stacks together and you can get this up to like 80 or maybe even 100%. I'm not sure. But it's a really great effect. And this passive is amazing for that. Definitely want to get that. For the spear, same thing. When you're in critical, you get more damage. It's fantastic. Also, you get more damage against yokais with full health. It's 20%. It's definitely not bad. Now, for the katana, I pretty much have like everything, but the main thing, if you're going to use a katana, you want the damage from behind mythic skill. That's super important. Outside of that, I do also have the chi recovery. Not that it matters as much for a living weapon, but it is nice to have that. I have some bonus chi, which is nice, and I have a lot of skills here. Now, the important skills I should bring up is Night Rain. This is an amazing skill. It hits 4 times. You can put it into high stance. And I've hit for like 26,000 with this 4 times. So that's well over 100,000 damage just from this one skill. It's a really awesome skill. And the other one I like too is the Sword of Meditation. There is an armor set that will increase the speed of this because it is really slow. But I don't really like that armor set, to be quite honest. I just kind of like use it every once in a while. But this is an ability that can easily hit for well over 100,000, no problem. So this is a really awesome ability. And scrolling down, the other ability that also matters is just this one right here, so that you can quickly get behind enemies. If you're going for damage from behind build with the katana, this does help a lot. So yeah, that's pretty much it for all the skills. Now I'm going to show you all my gear, which is the most important part. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and show you all my gear setup, because I will switch my armor around and switch my gear around depending on what I want to do, and it pretty much will change my build around, which is really awesome, because remember, this is a hybrid build. Just by switching your gear, you can go ahead and just switch your strategy and switch your build on the fly. It's really nice. But I'm going to start with the weapon, and when it comes to like what you want on your weapon, I definitely recommend exactly what I have, which is change to attack depending on your weapon, close combat chi damage, final blow damage, close combat chi reduction, and then finally close combat damage. Now you have two more options when it comes to close combat damage. Close combat damage is really rare. If you want to get this, especially at a high percentage like 20%, I did make a video to show you how to save a lot of money and resources and be able to kind of exploit the reforge option to get like these perfect god rolls. This is what I did to get all of these god rolls on my weapon. I will put a link in the description of this video to that video if you're interested to see how you can exploit it to get like the really good bonuses for your weapon. Now when it comes to close combat damage, I think that that's the best one, because this is a hybrid build. I might switch it up, and close combat damage will always be good. Damage from behind is also really good, because as long as you're getting behind them, you're always going to have bonus damage. Close combat damage critical will give you the most damage though. It's like 25%. But the thing about it is that that's only for when you're critical. And if you're switching your build up constantly, you're not going to always be in critical, because you might not be doing a critical build. So I don't really like the critical one because of that. Although it does give you a better bonus. In my opinion, the close combat damage is the best one. And if you can't get that, maybe damage from behind, because it's also really, really good. The second weapon is going to be this katana, and that's just there because this is from the Fanatic set, which is a fantastic set. Because I'm going to show you guys a couple things, a couple armor sets that are really good, but you had to have played the beta to get them. And if you didn't play the beta, you probably don't have them. So the two best sets in the game, if you do not have the beta sets, are going to be the Fanatic set and the Kingo set. So both of these sets are really, really good. But if you're going for a critical build, the Fanatic set is your build. If you're going for any other build, the Kingo set is your build. So that's the way to think of it. But anyway, if you just have one piece of the Fanatic set on, you can still get the bonus if you're using this Magatama that will reduce the requirement by 1. This is the best Magatama in the game for a reason. All you have to do is just equip one piece of the gear, and then boom, you get 30% more critical attack damage. That's freaking awesome. I'm using a hand cannon. Now your hand cannon does apply to you, so if you have agility damage bonus A+, you will get that bonus as long as it is equipped at the time when you're using it. I also like fire damage. I like that because a lot of times I'm using fire living weapons, and this will actually increase the damage. Equipment drop rate's good, recurring damage from fire, and I also have Amarita Urn from Yokai. That's pretty good. The Warrior of the West bow, once again, because I have the bow on, I can actually get 30% more damage for Tiger Sprint. Don't really like Tiger Sprint, but you know, hey, why not? It's pretty good. And now I'm going to go ahead and show you this. Now, this helmet is pretty awesome for the katana, and the reason for that is because when you have this on, you actually will get 30% more damage for Night Ring, which is that 4-hit combo you can do, and it just does a ton of damage. You can one-shot pretty much every boss in the game if you can pull that off, and you're behind them. So this is a really awesome helmet, or just, it doesn't really matter if you're using the helmet, or the pants, or the legs, or whatever. It really doesn't make a difference. Next, I'm using the Kingo set. Pretty much the full set, because everything here is good. The damage from behind, the close combat damage, everything's great. And one thing you want on your armor, guys, now when it comes to all these little bonus effects and stuff, that doesn't really matter all that much. The main one, though, is going to be attack. Now, I made a video on how you can get attack on every piece of your armor. So I'll go ahead and put a link to that in the description as well if you want to check that out, if you don't know how to put attack on all of your armor. Now, another thing you can do for this build, if you're going to fight, let's say, some humans, and you're going to do some final blows, and you actually have this is the Sonata set. The Sonata set is from the beta. If you played the beta, you would have unlocked the Sonata set. And this is one of the best sets in the game. But if you just equipped one piece of this armor, just one piece, you will get bonus final blow damage. Now you'll lose the close combat damage, but whatever, right? The final blow damage can be better if you're going to go for a final blow. So I definitely do like the Sonata set for this setup as well. But this is going to be one setup pretty much. I use this helmet with the Kingo set. I use this katana. This is from the Kingo, like the cross sickle set pretty much. So it kind of goes with that. I use this katana. I always would recommend having this katana equipped just for that close combat damage critical. Now when it comes to the Magatamas, these are kind of universal. I only use 2 other Magatamas. But honestly, I got really lucky with this God Roll Magatama. It has Yokai close damage and living weapon attack enhancement. That's what you really want on this Magatama if you can get it. There's some other things you can get that are really good, but those are the 2 that you really, really want. And don't even get me started on the God Roll on this purple. I mean, look at this purple. I got Yokai close combat damage. I got living weapon attack. And I also got special effects critical. Now that will boost my critical effects, all of them. So if I have, like, let's say attack bonus when I'm in critical, that boosts it. If I have defense bonus when I'm in critical, that will boost that as well. So it's really, really good. And remember, guys, if you do not have the DLC stuff, it's not really DLC, but it's from the beta. The Fanatic set is the other good set. The Kingo set and the Fanatic set are the 2 that you want. I don't have the Fanatic set because I'm not really interested in it, because I like the Sonata set. Let me go ahead and show you my other setup now. So what I do is this. I use 4 pieces of the Sonata set, and then I use this mask, which is the Ogress mask. And this is going to be for my living weapon, for either the Phoenix or the dog, and it freaking wrecks face. It's so good. Okay, so once again, I have the hand cannon for the fire damage. This mask will also add fire damage, 20%, so that's why I use it. Going down to the Sonata set, I have attack on everything, but I don't really have anything special on it. It's whatever. But this is my setup for my critical build. Reason why this is better than the Fanatic set is because you actually get close combat damage critical 28%. Like, that's actually better than the 50% special effect bonus, because for whatever reason, you just get more damage. I've done testing with it. It does work. It's freaking epic. So this is what you want if you're going to go for a critical build with either the Dog Spirit or if you're going to go for the Phoenix Spirit. Now, if you want to go ahead and farm for a ton of experience, okay, you have 2 options. Either you can use the Fanatic set because you didn't play the beta, you don't have this other particular set I'm going to show. But there's one set that's amazing. Now, first of all, you want to go ahead and switch your Magatamas out to ones that will have experience earned while using living weapon. You want that effect on your Magatamas if you can get it. I will actually show you guys how to farm for Magatamas and get like the best Magatamas in the game. I'll show you guys how to do it if you don't have good Magatamas. But here's the deal. So you want to stack these effects together and then of course use the Phoenix. So we're talking about like 90% more experience when I'm using living weapon. It's really, really good. Now the armor setup is either going to be the Fanatic set if you do not have this beta set, but if you did play the beta, you have to actually look at this armor, because this is something that a lot of people don't really realize. I didn't either for the longest time, because I knew about this armor, but I never looked at it since the beginning of the game. But this armor actually has a really awesome set bonus. What it does, it gives you more experience, 16% when you're wearing the full set of armor. Okay, so that's pretty fucking good. Now, if you go ahead and you farm the one mission that everybody farms, I'll show it to you. It's like the final mission or the mission before the final mission. It's the one where you fight Kelly. If you farm this mission with everything set up perfectly, you have the Nioh Incarnate armor on, you have these Magatamas on, the Phoenix on, and you also use the Sake for more experience and all that type of good stuff. If you combine everything together, right, what will end up happening is you'll actually go ahead and get like 90 million experience a run. Every time I do this run, I get 90 million experience. That's 9 levels every run. So getting to 750 is super easy while using all of this combined. But this Nioh Incarnate set is really awesome. And remember, if you didn't play the beta, the Fanatic set would be for you, unfortunately, because a lot of people don't have that set. But 16% more experience, definitely really, really awesome. Now, if you want to know how to farm for the best Magatama in the game, because I'll actually show you guys. This is kind of awesome. I spent about an hour and a half farming, and I was able to actually get 4 of these. I found one just randomly, an enemy dropped it, but I got 4 of these in an hour and a half. It's all RNG, so keep that in mind. But you can actually get the best Magatama in the game, and you can get some really good Magatamas while you're at it if you do this mission, the Trail of the Master. It's really quick, it's really easy. In fact, I'll do it real quick just to show you. All you gotta do for this is you just go ahead and load up the mission, and I will actually quickly show you my setup too. I forgot to do this. So I use my power pills on the top, I use my tiger running scroll on the left, I use my weakness talisman on the right, and I use my sloth talisman on the bottom. If I switch over, this is all my buffs. I use my quick change scroll, carnage talisman, my extraction talisman, and my other talisman as well. So that's pretty much my setup that I use. And if you want to farm for this Magatama, I always just go ahead and I pop a tiger running scroll. You just simply run up here. Okay. Then this guy will spawn. You just run past his ass. Drop down over here. And then kind of just run past all this bullshit right here. Item discovery also helps for this. So if you want to like just boost your item discovery or equipment discovery and all that, it is nice. And you just simply pick this up. And it's always going to be either a purple Magatama or it's going to be a green Magatama. After you pick it up, then what you would want to do is just go ahead and use your branch or your fragment to just get the fuck out of here. So normally before you start your farming, you should just level up as much as you can, get rid of all your experience, and then just keep using this over and over again. It takes about maybe 20 seconds to get the Magatama, and maybe about 45 seconds to reset the level. So yeah, this is how you farm for it. Alrighty guys, well that's going to pretty much do it for this video. That's like everything I wanted to talk about, I guess. It's a really awesome build because it's a hybrid build, and you know the goal is that you'll level up a lot, because the more you level up, the more weapons you can use. My plan is to get to 750, and then I can upgrade a couple different weapons and just switch it up pretty much at that point. Just use whatever the fuck I want. But the gear really will make the build, in my opinion, when it comes to this game. I really hope this has helped. If it has, will you please like the video for me? Be sure to subscribe, and I really do hope that everyone has a very nice day, and peace!
Yes, you can! Just do it! If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up.